How's it going, everybody? Jay the Caffeinator here. Um, Had a small dilemma. I've already put a post out about this. So this is my Hyte X50 case unboxing of Taro Milk that I pre-ordered, and uh, something happened to the audio track on the video record. No idea, but it happened. It's just the way things go, I guess. So, this is my first ever voiceover that I'm trying to do. We shall see how this goes, and hopefully, I won't get crucified too badly. So, I shot this in my garage since I kind of needed the room to, unbox this. Here I am popping the handles back out, so therefore it slides open a lot easier. So I've got myself stuck with that. But I'll still have a small hiccup here in just a moment. So this is the place I had the best lighting, and there's the flap. That's going to stop me. Lift. Nope. Lift. Still no. What the heck? What the heck is going on? What's wrong? Oh, never mind. I see it. So tilt. Flap over. And then up. There she goes. Luckily, we don't have a lot of static in the area right now. I kind of live near the ocean, so our humidity isn't too bad. So there is something on the. I have a surprise at the end that I have not seen any reviewer talk about before, but there's a kind of a cute little, I guess, Easter egg that Hyte has on the styrofoam. So that'll be at the end of the video if you want to see it. So I've got to admit, this is the first case I've ever pre-ordered. The current case that I have, I've got a Lee & Lee Landcool 2 mesh performance, and I bought that one kind of at the beginning of lockdown, or just before it was going to happen there in 2020. So it was just getting so hard to get a hold of. So I know I paid a little bit over for mine when I got it, but it has worked out great for me. Took the recommendation from the Gamers Nexus channel, Steve over there. I follow them and support them quite well because I have an engineering background, and from my old car stuff and the fact of building computers for the last 30 years, I am all about trying to get the most performance for the cheapest amount that I can. So, better airflow means colder components. Colder components means you get better utilization and performance out of them. So, one of the things I was curious about was that Hyte emblem medallion. I was hoping that I had ordered it early enough to get a gold one. For some reason, I kept thinking there were going to be 3 different colors, but there aren't. It's just the first 50,000 get gold. And I thought when I had initially heard it, it was 1,500. So I bought the case the second day it was available for pre-order. I was really happy about that. Now, the thing that occurred to me is that 2 days later, Hyte put out an email saying that the matching fans were up for sale for $50. Well, I had already purchased the case, and if you want to get free shipping, you've got to spend over $70. So, because I wasn't, then it had listed, all right, well, it's $50 for the 4 fans, and shipping is $45. I don't have the money that I'm spending $100 on 4 fans. yet. That's not in my price budget. So I already have a whole bunch of fans in my current system, and ones that I picked up a while back that I want to try from Superflower. So when I do my system move into this case, I'll cover that. Hopefully I won't have to do a voiceover. Here I am taking off the acoustic glass panel. I'm not worried about the fact of no sound. My current setup. I have to admit though, it feels that glass is thicker than the two glass doors that are on the Landcool 2. But obviously we'll find out. Kind of started to get to me. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't hold that side panel glass up on its edge like that. So hopefully I'll get some sense here soon and lay it on its side. Right now I'm looking at the curves for that front panel. One of the things I remember Hyte talking about was that the manufacturer came back because they had so many samples that that weren't working or they were failing. It's like, hey, how do we get the best porosity with this and not really destroying this metal? And their suggestion was, well, we can take the perforation all the way to the edges. That would make it easier for manufacturing. So it's just a happy accident on Hyte's side. So, hey, cool. We don't have to worry about this. Even better. So, this is me taking off the hard drive and the SSD cage from the back because that's where the accessories are installed at. Taking a look in there. It's not too bad. There's some extra Velcro straps, which, I mean, they're white with they're white and black, so they match. My guess is probably because they go with all the colors that the X50 comes in. But there's also there's one extra mushroom pop. Oh, this is I'm going over what Gamers Nexus also kind of went over in when they did their deep dive here just recently in their video for it, is the fact that yes, it was great that all these screws come in their own individual little bags. However, inside the labeled individual bag is a single use package that the screws came in. Now, my guess, I don't have it confirmed, and it would probably take me a while to go research it, but I'm guessing that the screws are manufactured, obviously, at a different factory, and then they are brought over to they're brought over then to where the case is assembled and stuff like that for that factory, and it's all put together there. So it's just easier, instead of opening up the single-use ones, just to slide them into their pre-labeled bag, and then there you go. I don't know. I know it's a waste of plastic, but I still really like that. Taking a look at the underside fan filter, it's got a really great grab tab on it with the magnets holding it. Here I am trying to see if it flips on in the other direction, because from its orientation, the tab is towards the back of the case. And here you can see, it's like, okay, so it faces rearward. So if you have the glass facing you, like on my desk, it's on my left side and sitting like that. So in order for me to remove this, in order to clean it, I have to squeeze between the backside of the case and my wall tilting the case towards me in order to get that to pop off. I really kind of wish the design had been a little bit different, either flipped to the glass side, maybe to make it easier to remove, or and I think the magnetic is a much better idea than sliding, but so I mean there's pros and cons to how everybody else does it. So I appreciate that. Having the PSU back at the top of the case reminds me of back in the earlier 90s when we would build that some of the other cases there had had the power supply up top, and I mean they worked up there, and but the problem is just like what with whatever other location you have, you got to stretch the cables the best you can. So cable management way back in 95 and 96 and 7 wasn't really all the same. Of course, you also you couldn't see inside. So I know, I can't remember if it was Jay's 2 cents that made the comment about that, but it's like if your cables can't reach, and you can kind of afford to do it, buy some cable extenders. One, you'll get the aesthetic kind of part that you want, and they should reach. Hopefully. I would hope your PSU manufactured cables with an extension would be able to go there. Here I'm looking at the front bracket for fans. I have a Arctic Freezer 2 360 AIO currently mounted in my system. So understanding the fact that 3 140 fans can be installed on that bracket is interesting for me. I find that nice to see. However, I don't have a 420 AIO, but mounting the 140 fans, because the bracket for the 120 fans and the 140 fans are all in the same area, you're gonna get some coverage on it. So not the most optimum of airflow, but it is what it's going to be. So here I am trying to pull that off. I didn't realize, I thought it was going to be thumb screwed in, but it's not. It's actually in with regular machine screws or part of the case screws. There are a couple of interesting screws on that on this bracket, and I believe one faces forward, the other one faces back. I believe they look more of a kind of like an alignment screw as well. So, but looking at it, I mean, still, just like most of the other plates and the rest of the steel in this case, it's nice and sturdy. I gotta admit, Hyte definitely, built a really nice premium case with this. So I guess that's one of the joys of being now in my 50s. I can, well, once I start getting paid again, being a government worker, that I can splurge a little for some of my computer components. So here I wasn't sure. I'm like, it's not marked which end is top and which end is bottom. So I think I may have put this back in the opposite direction, but it fits still without a problem. But also looking at the other thing I was looking at in this is the adjustments that you can make on that bracket of either zero or flush, or the fact of how far it sticks out towards that front mesh. So here I am uh, grabbing the screws from my magnetic parts tray from Harbor Freight. I highly recommend, if you don't have a magnetic plate like this to kind of hold some of those loose screws and things, you really should go ahead and give it a try. They work really, really well. So here I am putting it back together. And I don't know if I didn't put it back down correctly or not. It's just weird. It was it's still a little loose. It kind of tilted back or side to side just a little bit. So I mean, one, I'm not too worried because obviously it's got to come back apart when I move my system build over. So I mean that's kind of how that's gonna go. So I guess my one thing I'm curious about seeing how it goes is that will the AIO tubes be long enough? I believe they are. Kind of looking, I haven't measured the ones I'm currently using for the system, but looking at the way it is, I may have to move that bracket back in a little bit, but it should still just be fine. I guess the question is going to be, do I have the configuration in push or pull? I don't know. Put your guess in down in the comments. If you have, if you want to like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. I'm still really new to the YouTube creator space, but I've been wanting to make a lot of different videos for a long time, so now it was time to just embrace it and keep going. Like I said, this is me just kind of a little, caught a little bit off on it, but hey, it's okay. Same thing for the top. I was wondering if the front mesh, was either, whether it required orientation, but nope. Either side looks fine. Now, one thing I have to admit that this, I think I'm going to go back to it, but the rear, one of the other design cues that I loved of this is the rear part of the case. But oh yeah, I'm going over the accessories and stuff, but reattaching it to the drive sled, I have to admit, if you haven't, I didn't have a scale. I'm going to see if I can find one, but I don't have one small enough. That thing is a hunk of metal. It's so heavy, which I can honestly say, if you have a hard drive hooked up to it or whatever, definitely it's not going to vibrate the rest of the system, because that thing's got enough mass to absorb that kind of attenuation of sound or vibration from spinning discs, if you happen to have them. But yeah, the simple fact you can put 3 drives on that thing. Now granted, yes, 2 of them have to be 2.5-inch solid state, but so be it. Here I am just being an idiot. One of the tricks that I know Paul's Hardware did for his wife when he when he built his for his wife was that you definitely have to make sure you guide the bottom part of the case side in place as you lock it down. One thing I was kind of concerned of was the feet. You know, this looks a little bit wider, but upon further analysis, you know, I wasn't sure if it was going to be wider than my Landcool 2. So here I'm measuring what the feet are. They're basically 8 3/4 from outer edge of each foot to each other. And then I wound up pausing the video, or pausing the recording, and going up to my desk and taking my measurement, which I'm back, and my platform is 10.5 inches. So, yep, it's going to fit, no problem. Do another measurement just to make sure. That's it's funny that tape measure is also from Harbor Freight. It actually has a magnet on the end of it. It's kind of cool. It's nice and wide, and the letters are really kind of big, which is good for my old eyes. Excuse me. So, but sorry, as I was describing before, that back panel I thought was it's amazing. You don't lose the mass of the steel, but yet turning it will allow so much airflow to come through. You know, the Gamers Nexus team really did a good showing on their deep dive. I will do my best to put all of the links to the videos from the other channels that I'm kind of referencing here. So, but my other question is, what do I do with that side part for where the other part of like AIO fans and stuff like that? Because I don't think I really want to populate it. So here's the part with the styrofoam. So, yeah, it's. Let me flip it back over, but it says soft, bubbly, comfy. I mean, come on, that is just, no one talked about that, so I thought it was really great. So, thanks for watching. Caffeinator out.